If something happened to you tonight, would your family be okay financially? Or would they be trying to figure it out? Or even would they have to resort to starting a GoFundMe? Because we see that all the time. Families that love each other deeply but didn't have a plan in place. And this is why I think about this verse. Proverbs 27:12 says, "A wise person sees danger ahead and takes precautions." That's what this is about. Not fear, just being prepared, because a lot of people, they shy away from these types of conversations. But you all, they must and should be had. I had a conversation with someone not too long ago. They told me, "I'm good. I have life insurance through my job." And I asked them one simple question: what happens if that job is no longer there? And they paused because they had never thought about that. And that's where most people are. They think they're protected, but they've never really looked at how their coverage actually works. So let's walk through this in a simple way. Now, here's a disclaimer. I know there are other types of policies you can purchase outside of your employer. This video doesn't deal with that. My focus is on employee benefits through an employer. Now, there are three main types of life insurance most people deal with through an employer: what your job gives you, what you add on, supplemental policies, and what you own personally, like a whole life policy. So let's start with employer life insurance. This is the one most people feel comfortable with. It's automatic. You didn't really have to think about it. And it usually gives you something like one time your salary or even maybe two times your salary. But here's the reality: that coverage is tied to your job. So if the job changes, guess what? The coverage changes. If the job ends, guess what? The coverage usually ends. And that's not something most people think about until it's too late. So now the question becomes, is your protection really yours, or is it just borrowed from your employer? Now, let's talk about supplemental life insurance. This is where people say, okay, I added more coverage through my job during open enrollment, so I'm good. And this part is important to understand because most supplemental life insurance is actually term life insurance, which means it's temporary, it's not permanent, and it's usually very affordable while you're in that group plan. And that's why people like it. It feels like a good deal. Well, here's the part people don't realize: that price is tied to the job. So when you leave that job, one of two things usually happens. You lose the coverage, or you can keep it. But now it's a lot more expensive because now you're no longer part of a group. Now it's based on your age, your health, and individual pricing. So something that felt affordable can suddenly become difficult to maintain. So the real question is, do you want your protection to be temporary and unpredictable, or something stable? Now, this is where whole life insurance comes in. This is different. This is something you own. It's not tied to your job. It doesn't disappear if your career changes. As long as it's properly set up, it's there for your entire life. Whole life doesn't expire. It builds cash value over time, and it provides long-term protection. And this is where people begin to think about leaving something behind or covering final expenses and creating stability. It costs more, yes, but it also lasts. So when I was in human resources, I would always encourage young employees to enroll in this plan early because it's permanent. The younger you are when you get it, the more coverage you can lock in at a really good price. But the opposite is also true. The longer you wait, the more expensive it gets and the less value you're getting for your money. So now, when you look at everything together, you start to see the difference between having coverage and having real protection. But here's the truth. When someone passes away, the emotional loss is already heavy. But when you add financial stress on top of that, it becomes overwhelming. Without life insurance, families struggle, bills pile up, decisions get rushed. But with life insurance, stability stays in place. The home is protected and the family has time to breathe. Life insurance doesn't stop tragedy, but it prevents financial devastation. So I'll ask you one more time. If something happened to you, would your family be okay? Or would they be trying to figure it out? If this made you think a little differently, go ahead and hit subscribe because we're not just talking about money over here. We're talking about real life protection and real life decisions. And at the end of the day, this isn't just about policies. It's about people. It's about making sure the people you love are taken care of. Protect your family, build your future, and move with wisdom.